All right, good morning. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Dark Orchestra. Let's get into it. Attitude Nation salute. This is a blog I wrote many years ago. And to be honest, I don't know when I wrote it, but supposedly it was on an airplane. I don't know if I was coming back from a competition, a training camp, a seminar. I don't know if I was coming back from an event with Coach Penley. I have zero idea. A lot of travel, though. A lot of travel in the past. Weightlifting takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. You can't have much of a schedule when you're 100% in. And though, for those athletes out there that create a schedule for their weightlifting, you know, while raising kids and having a career and, you know, even going to school, I commend you for that. It's tough. You have one window. And if you're young and you have that window, take full advantage of that. But that's a whole different podcast. Let's get just right into the reading, because the reading itself is going to bring up tons of different topics for me to discuss. And we're just going to take a time machine back to my keyboard on this airplane many years ago and dive into the mind of a young weightlifter that was on top of the world, on top of the sport, chip on the shoulder, and was extremely emotional back then. It always fascinates me to kind of reintroduce myself to the old me. It seems like two completely different people. You know, I'm almost 40 years old now. You know, I wrote this probably when I was 23, 24 years old, maybe even younger. So it's cool to go back, and it brings up good topics. And I think anybody out there that's a weightlifter can relate to this blog and to my writing, just because, you know, we're all in this together. So let's get into it. First time I have written to no music. Now notice on the blog, though, I have the Space Odyssey 2001. So it's a song, a soundtrack I used to listen to a lot when I used to write. I didn't write to it on this one, of course. But I put the song up there. I like people to listen to the background music when they read the blog back in the day. This blog is no longer active. I can't post or anything about it, but they're all still here, and all these blogs are in my book as well. But it's really cool how Blogspot still has all of this saved. I can just type in johnnorth.blogspot.com, and it's just like this old dusty capsule that still exists, which is cool. First time I have written to no music. First time I have written on a plane. First time I have actually opened a window to write, usually clicking black keys in the darkest of the morning night. I guess what I'm trying to say is there is a first time for everything in life. This is why I pressure all my athletes and fans to compete, and to compete some more. If the reading's a little choppy, I do not pre-read before I do the podcast. A normal person would. Let me read it a few times to get the rhythm down. Pre-read it for practice so that when I spark up the podcast, it flows better. But I never like to do that. I like to read organically with you guys, just to stay in the emotions more. Let's continue. Beginner or advanced, doesn't matter. So right there, just the first three lines of just competing often, I could do an hour podcast on. But I'm going to try to stay reading. I don't want to get too off track, because those are rants I've been going on for over a decade. Every meet is a different experience. Every meet is a first. Wow, that's a cool line there. And again, it's strange how it kind of sounds prideful when I'm like complimenting myself. When I say, "Oh, that's a cool line." Every meet is a first. But I really want to just drive it home. Again, I don't pre-read these, so I'm reading this for the first time. Since I wrote it like a decade ago. So it jumps out at me. And really, this is a completely different person. I give myself no credit for who I am today. It's like, I really just want to make that clear that this is John North, the monster character I created. This is somebody different than me. So I hope it doesn't come across like I'm tooting my own horn. It's just two different people. I could never write like this again. Ever. Never, ever, ever. Young, emotional, chip on the shoulder, middle finger to the air, dealing with skeletons, dealing with my past. Figuring things out. That's who this is. But look at that first meet, or every meet is a first. It kind of reminds me of every day is day one. You wake up for training, and then it's like, every day is a new opportunity to get better. Penlay used to talk about that a lot. You walk into the gym, and you should always have that excitement to get a new PR. And that's the Penlay method. If the fire's hot, go up. You always have that chance to hit a PR in some shape or form. And that's the fun part of weightlifting. And it keeps weightlifting exciting. It keeps people in the sport longer. It makes it more fun. It throws gas on the fire. It invites and pushes everybody to lift heavier weight as well. So when you go into practice, just know that, hey, this could be the day I hit a PR. Could be. It's day one. Or this could be the day where I have no misses. Or this could be the day that I beat my teammate that I've been battling with for months and months, and we have a good old battle going on between each other. So every day is day one, and every meet is its first. This is the mindset you must have. Going into practice and just saying, I will only hit what I'm told to hit is not weightlifting. I disagree with that notion completely. Every day is day one. Every day is an opportunity to PR. New openers, new jumps, followed with new goals, and the possibility to achieve new medals and better placements. Again, now we're going back into the comp side of things, not just the training. But every meet is day one. Every meet is a first. Like all the things I just listed. New openers, new jumps, new goals, new medals, new podiums. It's exciting. It's so exciting. Look at this as we continue. New teams and new locations. Man, ain't that the truth? It's cool because the Masters weightlifting is really fun because you get to experience, world travel. If you have the budget for that, you get to experience international world travel and international competitions here in America as well. Let's be honest. Of course, they're easier to make than a senior team. That goes without saying. But it's not taken away from the Masters division. It's just really cool how you can compete at Pan Ams, you compete at Worlds, you can travel around and have this crazy life experience, this adventure in weightlifting as a Masters athlete. Where let's be honest. I mean, most senior lifters are not going to make an international team. It's very rare. It's very tough. It's 1%. And some athletes just won't ever experience that. But hey, 35 plus, let's go. All of a sudden now you're in like Greece competing at the World Championships. And that's the great part of weightlifting. It's a never-ending story. There's always meets and there's always new adventures. Right here, look, new teams and new locations. Let's continue. New crowds cheering much louder than before. The next one might be dead silent. The next might be an elevated platform. Look at that. This is great. This is fun. I love reading these old, dusty, forgotten blogs by the chip on the shoulder, emotional John North from the past. New crowds cheering much louder than the one before. So you get some meets that are crazy loud. Some meets, hey, you know what? They're going to be kind of dead silent. Hey, look, we got Willie on here. Thanks, Willie, for jumping on the chat. New athlete out of Great Britain. Christ is King. Let's go. Will Hawkinson. Good morning. Happy Max Out Friday, everybody. Some meets are dead silent. Some meets are hyped up. And then look at that. One might be an elevated platform. All of these things matter. This is why every meet is new. Every meet is different. Every day is day one. New adrenaline, more pressure. As you think to yourself, I've done this before, so why am I so nervous? Why do I want to run for the door? You know, I tell lifters this all the time. If you are nervous before a competition, that is normal. And it's good. It's okay. See, the thing that's great about this podcast and these blogs and our team page and Zoom and tapping in with different people in the community of weightlifting is that you don't feel alone. When you feel alone, you feel like all of these nerves and all of these emotions and these tough sessions and these misses in training and these Clarks or whatever may be happening, you know, your legs twitching at night. Why can't I eat? Why am I not hungry? Why do I feel a certain way? You start feeling like you're the only one. And then you realize you're not. You're part of a bigger picture. You're in an army of iron. And we all got your back and we're all here for you. So this is why I like to read these, is so that you can relate to me. And so that I can relate to you. So if you feel like running for the door in a meet, it's okay. If you feel nervous, it's okay. That's life. It's because you care. If you didn't care, you wouldn't be nervous. We really care about this. You know, this weightlifting is a big part of our life, no matter what level you're at. And guess what? It's healthy. It's healthy on the mind and the body. It really is on the body. Yeah, it takes a beating. You're going to have some injuries. You're going to have some bang-ups. You might not walk correctly when you're 80, but who cares? It's still keeping you strong. It's still keeping you active and moving, showing your kids how to work hard for a certain goal. Get off the couch. Get out there. It's a great hobby. It's a great sport. It's a great activity. It's a great passion. Let's see. And wanting to run for the door? Question mark. Reason being is you want it so damn bad. If you didn't, your stomach wouldn't turn and your vomit wouldn't rise. Your annoying yawn would go away, and small little twitches and self-chat mumbles would disappear like a dash of smoky magic. This line is huge right here. I was coaching Zeke in Eugene, Oregon. What was it, last weekend? And he had a great competition, 5 for 6, all PRs across the board. Also, shout out to my master's team out in Pan Am's. Completely crushed it. I could do a 2-hour podcast on that. The team's on fire. We're rocking and rolling, and I'm so proud of my athletes. Shout out to John Herrera, being the head coach out there at Pan Am's, leading the ship, running athletes into battle, taking charge on the front lines, in the trenches, sweeping up medals, sweeping up records, sweeping up golds, kicking ass and taking names. John and Amy Herrera, I can't thank you guys enough. I love you guys both. The Red Circle would not be complete without you. And I thank you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. The fact that we have you, John and Amy, on this team to stand up and take leadership and to coach the team and stay an extra day on Sunday and everything that you do, I appreciate you both greatly. From this old John to this new John here, thank you. but let's continue. So Zeke was in the warm-up room, and listen, you listening, you could relate to this. He's in the warm-up room. He's kicking ass. He's taking names. He's in great shape. But I noticed something. He was yawning. He was yawning like crazy. Every time he sat in the resting chair, yawn, yawn. And I just smiled. I was looking at the board, looking at the numbers, and I would just kind of smile inside of myself. And I'd think to myself, I know exactly what he's feeling. See, I do think it's important for you to have a coach that did weightlifting, not just did weightlifting, but at a high level, so that coach can relate to you and you can relate to your coach. I'm not saying that always has to be the case, but I do think it helps. And as a former athlete like myself, I can look at my athletes now and say, I totally get that. Because at a high level, when I competed, I would yawn a lot. Donnie would yawn. Guys I used to compete against would yawn. And it's not that we're tired. Now, maybe if we can get a doctor on the podcast that knows what they're talking about, knows the scientific reasoning for this, we could break it down. But this is not a scientific podcast. This is street podcast. This is street weightlifting. This is dirt under the fingernails podcast. That's all you're getting when you're listening to me. But the yawning is something that happens not because we're tired, of course, but something with nerves, something with excitement. The yawn just comes out. Very interesting. Someone on the chat might know. Happy Big Friday, Tony. Shankle, let's go. 1, 2, 3, what is that? Demago games? Thanks, guys, for listening. So that's interesting. If you find yourself yawning, of course, you're not tired. You're just kind of in the zone. You're twitching. You're talking to yourself. There's a lot of things going on. Just stay focused, stay in the zone, and just know that they're normal. Know that if you're yawning in a meet, just say, well, John was talking on the podcast that he used to yawn too. And of course, you can look at my athlete. If you don't have any dirt on your fingernails, you look at my athlete Zeke last weekend and go, man, he's yawning in the back room. He's going to do horrible. No, he went 5 for 6 with all PRs. He had the best meet of his life. And by the way, he's an elite 67. Top 15 in the United States. So just know. Let's continue. Wazam! Question, explanation mark. But no, you want it so effing bad. It's even worse than the first. Every meet gets so much more exciting and nerve-wracking that the feeling alone is worth months of hard training. Blood, sweat, and tears. Wow, look at that. It's so worth it. Listen, guys, I know I say the same thing a lot, but we are in the hardest sport in the world. And training is tough. And it's monotonous. That's probably the hardest part of training, right? I talk about the shining hotel a lot. We feel like we're in the shining hotel. We're talking to a bartender that's not there. You got to be careful. Weightlifting can do that for you. That's also why you see a lot of people that jump programs, because they go a little crazy. They look for, something more comfortable, something, easier. They look for that green grass, but they never seem to find it. Because no matter where you go, the shining's going to be there. You just got to kind of embrace it and move forward. But this is why when you go out to a big meet and you just have a great time, you go, okay, it's worth it. Let's keep going. Let's see. Every meet gets more exciting and nerve-wracking. That the feeling alone is worth months of training, blood, sweat, and tears, sitting in the warm-up room, trying not to make eye contact with coaches, athletes, nor peers. Focused and steady. Your eyes stay down, ready, and time willing. Your body is in full gear. It's like a gambler sitting at the table. That's the truth. That's the true rush. Poker comes next to such a feeling of intimacy and lust. Just as a weightlifter getting ready for his or her opener. They are more alive before they even step on stage. Now it's time to react. Nothing more. Another tough part of weightlifting and competition here is not paying attention to what's going on around you. Keeping the eyes down. Staying focused, staying in the zone. Not worrying about this coach or this person or this or that or some conversation happening. One thing that I see with a lot of weightlifters is the talk in training, the talk in competition, too much talking, too much grab assing. First of all, in competition, you should never talk. There's that few Arnold national competitions that I think Flow Elite did, and some other people filmed of me that are out there floating in the YouTube universe where you could see me in the back room. The focus is just crazy. A little cocky, some talking here and there, but I'm in my zone. I'm not focused on anybody else. And this is why you must practice how you compete. In training, we must stay in the zone and get that work in. If your practice is taking longer than an hour and a half, you're talking too much. If your practice is taking longer than an hour and a half, you're taking too long between sets. You're drinking too much water. You're using the restroom too much. Stop with the nonsense. Keep the rhythm going and stay in the zone. Second paragraph here in this old blog. New again after years of competing. This is why it's so important to keep competing, rising, and knocking off rankings. Each new experience might camouflage itself in the world of weightlifting, but it's the new feeling that you receive that makes weightlifting so addicting. That's it right there, guys. Look at these two lines here. Weightlifting is addicting. I used to be addicted to crystal meth. I used to be addicted, to alcohol and cocaine. That's kind of goes. When you're a meth addict, those are kind of all three tied together, of course. But I used to be addicted to partying and drugs, and I used to be addicted to the world. The world. But guess what? I finally eventually found weightlifting, and I became addicted to weightlifting. And boy, it changed my life completely. It made me smash the meth pipe. It made me stop drinking. I'm not saying that transfer was necessarily easy, especially with the drinking part, but it definitely was with the drugs. And it led me on a path to where I'm at now. Sober, father of 3, husband to a beautiful wife, a Christian. I found Jesus. I walk with the Lord. I have an amazing weightlifting team. I'm a professional weightlifting coach with the #1 team in the world. How blessed am I? And I am blessed. All glory to God. But I tell you, the Lord put that barbell in my hand and said, here you go. Stop being addicted to horrible things and be addicted to this. Slamming drugs, slamming alcohol, expressing yourself, helping other people find weightlifting, get into weightlifting, conquer some of their demons. Weightlifters, we're very extreme people. We need something extreme to almost kind of ground ourselves. It was like when my son said, why do sad songs make me happy? I totally agree. Why do extreme sports make me feel calm? Why do extreme sports make me feel at ease? The rush, the excitement, the danger of weightlifting, the hardship of weightlifting. Give me hard, give me the dark, give me the suck. I like it. I like the skeletons of the night. I like confronting my past skeletons. I like to cry. I like to write sad blogs. I like to write twisted blogs. I like watching The Shining. I like watching Space Odyssey 2001. I like weird, dark shit. It makes me feel good. This is why I love weightlifting. Most can't do it, so I want to do it. Most can't go through the monotony of weightlifting, so I want to prove everybody wrong. That was my biggest push as a weightlifter back in the past, was I wanted to prove my counselors wrong, my parents wrong, people in my life wrong. I wanted to prove society wrong. All my friends that went off to college and thought they were better than me wrong. My counselors, the people I used to, hang out in drug houses with. I wanted to prove the entire world wrong, that I can do it, and I'm going to train harder than everybody else, and I'm going to be champion like Jeff Whitmer. I'm going to represent my country. I'm going to go as high as I can and climb this mountain. And I want you listening to the same no matter what level you're at. If I did it, you can do it. Haters can talk all they want and they get on the keyboard and say this and that's fine. It's a free country. Say what you want. I'm not perfect. There's probably many things that you can say against me that are true. I fall short. I'm no saint. But I tell you right now, I put the work in, I do my best, and I try hard every day. And I know that when that barbell reaches your hand, there's a certain high that you get where it's addicting, where you want to train all the time. You want to do the program plus more. You know what I'm saying? You want that Pendlay method where if it's hot, go up. You want to compete and have fun. This is the life that we chose to live. And this weightlifting keeps us on track so that we can better our life off the platform. Let's keep going. Not the weight, but the anticipation. As I would chug monsters and yell Arnold, keeping my mind from thinking. Look at this line right here. How have I not read this blog since in the past? I stumbled upon this, scrolling this old blog, this old dusty blog. I said, what is this? New experience. I don't remember writing this. Not the weight, but the anticipation. As I would chug monsters and yell Arnold, keeping my mind from thinking. Keeping my mind from thinking. Stop thinking. Look at this line here. Stop thinking. React. Let the emotions fly. Grab the bar and go. This is why the whole hook grip or non-hook, straps or no straps in training shouldn't matter, because you should be so numb. You should be so emotional. Your adrenaline should be so spiked that you have no such problem. There's no such thing as a problem with grip. You're numb. You're reacting. You're sucking the blood from vampires. You're yelling Arnold. You're getting going. See, I had to create this character in order to succeed. Without yelling Arnold and slamming bars and creating this character, I'd be too scared to lift weights. It's too heavy. I'm too insecure. I'm too weak. Let's continue. I would go to a different place when I trained that only brought in feelings, no thoughts, just nothing. This was always my secret in taking top spots. I would let each meet take full control, moving with the rhythm of the meet. Like I was the meet director's soul. Fuck my gosh, man. What in the heck? This writing is crazy. Oh, jeez, man. It's dark shit, man. I was so mad. I was so mad. You wouldn't come at me back in the day. I tell you that right now. You wouldn't come at me back in the day. You ain't coming at me in weightlifting. I'd eat your soul. I'd tear your heart out and eat it in front of you. I was a mean motherfucker back then. I mean, I had to weigh in at different times. I couldn't even weigh in at the same time. I had to weigh in at different time slots because fights would break out. Things would get heated. They had to move platforms in the warm-up room. I mean, this is no joke. I'm not saying I won every meet, but shoot, I was trying to kill you every meet. And I don't see that same energy and that same passion and that same anger in these weightlifters nowadays, you know? Instead, weightlifters just want to talk smack about others, jump 15 teams, and then just, you know. See, if you're not crazy, you're not going to push through that middle time of the mountain. Weightlifting is Mount Everest. And good athletes, they can climb high and they can climb pretty fast. They feel good about it. But once it gets cold and it gets really windy and it gets really icy and the oxygen goes away and it's tough to breathe because you're getting so high in the air, and then you're making less progress because every kilo you have to scrape for. Every kilo now takes longer to achieve. The climb slows down. You're in the same base camp for a long time. You might even have to go down a little bit to keep climbing up. This is what a lot of these middle of the road or even upper middle of the road weightlifters don't understand. This is why they fall to dust, is because they can't put in the monotony of doing the same shit every single day for year after year after year to climb to the very top of that mountain, to push through the oxygen levels, the wind, the ice, the coldness, the discomfort. Weightlifting is discomfort. That's what it is. That's the definition of weightlifting. Look it up. Definition of weightlifting. What is it? Being uncomfortable. I just made that up, but that's pretty much the street definition. Being uncomfortable. If you can be uncomfortable and stay consistent and push through, you will climb very high on that mountain. You have to get crazy. Do you understand me, listener? You have to become fucking psycho. You have to be psychotic. Now, if you want to just get to the middle and climb the mountain a few times and go down and reclimb and do meets and have fun and train 3-4 days a week and do some local meets and You're like, geez, John, I don't need to be crazy. Then that's fine. That's fine. But I guess I'm talking to this lifter that wants to go. Bud Pierce. Okay, Bud Pierce, an example. Bud Pierce, my goal with Bud Pierce is to become world champion in the Masters division. That's my goal with Bud Pierce. When he becomes Masters national champion, we're going to have a party. I'm going to be crying like Michael Scott in The Office. I'm going to be very happy. When he wins the state meet and breaks local records and every step upward on the mountain that Bud Pierce does, I'm going to be extremely happy about. Like he has been the last few years, right? He's just coming off an all-time PR comp at the Arnold. But let me tell you something. My goal is for the 2027 to Bud Pierce to become Masters World Champion. And I'm not going to stop until he gets there. Bud Pierce has to be a little crazy, and he is. Right? Bud Pierce is the one that came up with the zombie phase 1, 2, and 3. And in my opinion, he's reached even zombie phase 4 before baseball season a few months ago. The dude's dangerous. The dude's scary. The dude's also artistic and emotional. Artistic in a way where he writes, he makes videos. You guys know Bud Pierce. He's very talented. He's like David. He plays the harp, but he also goes battles on the battlefield. And that is one scary person. Let's continue. All right. Bottom of the second paragraph. Understanding each meet as an individual made me openly take in sights and sounds, allowing and feelings to bubble over and spill onto a platform surrounded by cheering crowds. I was not thinking about my lifting. I was not thinking at all. I was honestly just reacting to what had been happening all along. Quote, "Why is he slamming bars and yelling Shankle on the stage?" Unquote. They would whisper and ask as I walked off stage, more jacked up than ever before. Oh, they hated me back then, right? I swam upstream. I went against the guard. I went against the blue coats. I went against the good old boys. Don't ruffle the feathers. Stay in line. Okay, do your level 1s and 2s. Do this technique. Do this program. Go to the OTC. Don't yell. Shut up. Let's keep the power coming in. Let's keep the money rolling in. This is weightlifting. And me and Penlay and Spitz and Cal Strength, by the way, I talked to Spitz on the phone the other day. It was so good to speak with him. It's been a little while since I've talked to him. We talked for probably 30, 40 minutes, and it was just an amazing conversation and so good to catch up, and it was very emotional. Get emotional just thinking about it. Hold on. Let me get regrouped here. But, we went against, it seems like it was like Cal Strength against the world. It really was. And yeah, let's keep going. So don't care what they're saying, be you. I've been fighting this good fight against the good old boys in the guard of weightlifting for a decade plus. Have I been hit down? Did they get a few victories on me? Maybe a few. But at the end, look, here we are. Here we are. I'm standing right here in front of you on this mic. 2 decades of fighting the good fight, and we're here. We won the bar slam battle. Attitude Nation is strong, and we're continuing to fight, and that's an amazing thing. So that's just proof right there that you not only can you make a great athletic run in this sport being yourself, but you can make a business and a career and make money and travel and coach and create a whole lane of a whole career for yourself. Cut out your own lane. I'm living proof of that. You could say I'm being prideful right now, but I'm just telling you I am an example of what you can do if you stick to your roots. You don't sell out. I'll never sell the out, right? I used to yell on the camera that all the time. Will Hawkinson knows. Yeah, right? Jumping Jonathan Norris. Somebody's, I don't know, this Games 123. Strong soldier here, man. He knows me. Jumping Jonathan North, yeah. Stick to yourself. Be true to yourself. be yourself in weightlifting. You know, Coach Penley, he let me be me. I used to say it all the time in interviews. I'd be interviewed all the time back then. I don't know where half those interviews went, by the way. So funny. I never used to track social. Nobody ever had Instagram or anything. It was just all these interviews. Some are on YouTube if you go low enough. But I used to tell all the interview people, Coach Penley lets us be ourselves. He lets us be us. Aaron Huss, come on, baby, the road striker. And that was great. You know, I'm going to let Aaron Huss, the road striker, be herself. You know, she just won Masters national champion. Top lifter in the senior division, just won nationals in the Masters division. High level in both divisions, and she's on fire. I'm going to let Aaron Huss be Aaron Huss. We know each other very well. We know how to work with each other and dance with each other, and it takes time. It's a rhythm. It's a relationship. And that's what you need. Let's continue. What are we? Third paragraph. More alive than the meet before, and ready to lift bigger weight than ever before. I sailed to the back room with yells and tears, so emotional and hyped, all before my second attempt was even near. 5 out, no time for sitting, just pacing and breathing, feeling and never thinking. I did what I had to do to keep fear away. That's my response to those that whisper from far away. Come on, baby. Now we're starting to rhyme here. Let's freaking go. Love your life or change it. Come on, baby. Now look at this. I'm keeping fear out, because when you're in the back room like that, insecurity creeps in, fear creeps in, all the outside noise of the white dome, right, wants to creep into your brain. The enemy is trying to bring you down. This is why you have to just fight the fear. Do what you got to do in the back room. Do what you got to do in training to keep it rocking. We all have weird things. We're weird people. Weightlifters have fidgets, and they talk to themselves, and they do this and they do that, and they do weird things between sets. And that's okay. You got to find your weirdness. Let me see here. Continuing on, I did what I had to do to keep the fear away. Okay, When doubt and fear gets in the mind of a weightlifter, mislifts appear. Faces of what ifs and uncertainty cast upon your face. I would then need to pee, and I would no longer pace. I would then need to pee, and I would no longer pace. I would no longer yell. That's when you know it's bad. Calm down, John North. Calm John North was a scared John North, leaving me with memories of bad. Well, there's a lot there in that sentence. The pee thing was kind of weird, but the best way I can explain that is when you're nervous, you got to pee a lot. So I think anybody listening right now can relate to that. That does happen. You got to pee. I like this end part, though. Calm John North was a scared John North, leaving me with memories of bad. Yeah. Calm is never good. For me. You know, focused, you know, I kind of like the term controlled chaos. You're controlled, you're focused, you're professional, but you're chaotic. You're a storm. And that's kind of what for me works there. And that's either, by the way, on the inside or out. That was more outside for me. You know, we've talked a lot about like Travis Cooper and Donnie Schenkel, and even I was going to say Wes Kitts. I was on the phone with him the other day too, by the way. Shout out to Wes. It's good to link up with Wes. We're talking about doing some seminars together. There's a lot going on there, so I'll keep you all posted, but he's balling out. Wes is kind of a mix, I would actually say. I'd say a good mix inside and out. But, you know, Travis Cooper, myself, two different lifters, right? He's inside with the chaotic storm. I'm outside with the chaotic storm. Whatever you got to do to spark it up, let's go. All right, 2 paragraphs left, so we'll get out of here. I got to get back on Zoom for coaching, get back on the team Facebook page. We got Vegas Worlds coming up. We got AO Finals, Nationals, USAW Worlds at the end of the year. Same competition as AO Finals. Of course, you blink. We got the Arnold coming around for 2026. Lots of local meets, lots of state meets. A lot's going on. Shout out to my new athlete from Great Britain, by the way. England, Willie, who was just on the chat board. I don't know if he's still. He's so cool, by the way. We have a pretty sweet international team going on right now. I mean, let's name it. We got Matthias from Denmark. We got Alexander from Switzerland. We got Lucas from Austria. We got Josiah from Sweden. Of course, Greg Doucette out in Canada. And now we have Willie out in England. That's pretty awesome. Am I missing one? I always fear I start listing off. I mean, we have many athletes on the team, so anytime I start listing athletes, I feel like I'm going to leave someone out. But pretty cool international team. Hey, join the team. Do weightlifting.com. Anywhere in the world. Get you on the team page. Get you on the Zoom. Get you on the team program. Let's rock and roll. Let's keep it going. Emotions are not thought, and they are extremely far from forced. Emotions are driven from want and desire. Long ago, heartache and a chip on the shoulder. That's it right there. Isn't it interesting how emotions actually come from the past? So your emotions in the actual weightlifting meet are not of the emotions of the actual time that you're in. They're emotions from the past, the heartache, the chip on the shoulder. Everything that you've gone through in life blossoms when you're at a weightlifting meet. Emotion stem from the possibility of succeeding, believing in what you're doing, and reacting on overwhelming feelings of self-love, self-happiness, and self-worth. The hype to go out on stage is a life-changing force that forces your nervous body to lift weight that makes you feel sick, tired, and down, only to stand up to spike all the doubt to the ground. There we go. There's another rhyme. So look at that right there. What does that mean? You know, I know my writing's not technically perfect here, but this is interesting here. The hype to go out on stage is a life-changing force. That is so true, by the way. So old John North here is right on the money. An old 40-year-old, wise, weathered coach John North here totally agrees with crazy young John North. That forces your nervous body to lift weight. Now look at right here. That makes you feel sick, tired, and down. What is that? Well, that's training, right? It's the black felt that lays underneath the diamond. It's the black felt under the diamond at the diamond store that makes that diamond pop. You're not going to put the diamond on a white piece of paper, right? And that's how so many people train, is they train on a white piece of paper so that diamond never gets to pop in a competition. Because the white piece of paper is easy. It's comfortable. It's a few days a week. It's nice. It's good. Pulls. Don't do the lifts the same day. Oh, don't max out. That's too heavy. We're going to stick to low percentages. I don't like that whole Penlay method. I don't like that whole, programs the minimum, push heavies. I don't like that Bulgarian system. So I don't got time for that white paper. Too many lifters train on that white paper. I want my athletes, and I want you listening to train on that black felt. That black felt. It's what I'm talking about right here. It makes you feel sick, tired, down, only to stand up to spike all the doubt to the ground. I mean, look, before nationals for Erin Huss, man, she was down. Hard training, rough, tough days, punching holes in the wall, throwing weights. I'm not saying that she was doing that, but that was kind of like me back in the day. But you get what I'm saying. And what does she do? She goes out and has one of the best meets of her entire career at nationals and wins the national title. Oh, okay. There's the diamond. Let's continue. Now calm palms chatter chalk. Crumbs from your hand, leaving the air cloudy and out of focus, like an early morning flight in the AM. This type of spark sets fire to others around you. A selfish thought now inspires others to clap chalk and slam bars, yell loud while shooting for the stars. Yeah. That's why team is so important. Gas, 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 gas. Just like the Dylan Cooper video, right? One of the first things I said when we started warming up is, man, you got to find that gas. You got to throw it on each other. You got to throw it on your own fire. Last paragraph, chasing dream. chasing dream in nighttime gyms, lonely and forgotten in the corner of the CrossFit gym. Classes move fast, and high energy continues to dance. The lifter in the corner has to wait another 2 months until he or she gets another chance. Look at that. Let's say you go out, you don't really have a great meet, you got to wait 2 more months. Let's say you even had a great meet, still got to wait 2 months. 2 months of in the corner of a CrossFit gym. That's a tough sport. A weightlifter looks for feeling from a tired, numb body and the deepest bottom of a chalk bowl. As if a kid looking for the magic plastic spoon in a cereal box. Opened eyes, bushy-tailed. Sometimes bingo, and sometimes nothing. No feeling, only from your legs, spiking pain up into your hips. Achy and unoiled your knees. Make sounds of clicks. This is just my athletes. All of these things my athletes have, on and off, and it's part of weightlifting. And they think I don't get it or understand. It's like, look at this blog here. I totally get it. This is one blog out of like 200 blogs I wrote, and it's all just right here in writing. Hands rough like a racehorse's hooves, sharpening the ski and getting rid of the dead skin to new. Icy hot gets warm then cold like the last 5 meets you have competed in. Wow. Gosh, dang it. Oh, man, that's good. Remember, I'm not tooting my own horn here. This is a different person. I guess I'm an old John North fan. as the old John North here at 40, but that's a fire line there. It's so true, though. It's just so true. Icy hot gets warm then cold like the last 5 meets you've competed in. It should be a t-shirt. It's up and down, baby. It's a rodeo. Hot, cold, cold, hot, lukewarm, medium. It's a rodeo. Asking a woman out on a date was better odds than this weightlifting thing. Ain't that the truth? Oh, well. Right? What are you going to do? I love this oh, well here. Oh, well. Well, what's the option from all this? It's just to get back to training. There's only one thing that you have control over, and that's just train hard. Oh, well. Back to the bloody shins and smelly shirts. Gym bags that could tell a story of all sorts. Knee wraps wrapped tight and steady, taking you back to the meet when your emotions were brave, high and alive. The knee wraps as your armor and the bar to survive. Yep, in the corner of this gym, you are a weightlifter. One day alive, most other days disguised. Patiently waiting for the experience of your life. And last line here, your first meet of your last is a first. Let's read that again. Your first meet or your last is a first. Look at that. I love that. Every meet is a new experience. Experience is knowledge, and knowledge is a choice. Take in your feelings and understand your past. Embrace, react, and most importantly, be you. Gosh, I am so glad I said this at the end. This wraps up the entire blog. I didn't even need to read this blog. This last line wraps up weightlifting and what I most want you to hear. Do you hear me? Let's read this one more time. Experience is knowledge. Right there. Experience is knowledge. Okay? That's so key. And knowledge is a choice. So the choice to go out there, experience, to get your hands dirty, that is a choice that you make. Nobody's just going to come give it to you. Take in your feelings and understand your past. That's the Dark Orchestra. We've talked about that for 20 years. Entering your orchestra to talk to your skeletons, to play violins with your skeletons. Okay? Embrace, react, and most importantly, be you. That's it, guys. Happy Friday. God bless. I hope this podcast helps. I'll be back for more blog reading. Have a great day.